Hi everyone, I'm Veronica Bartolini with Codebreaker Real Talk, and today I have my co-host Chad Cooper and Aisha or Kristy. And we met in Oregon. How are you doing, Kristy?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing great. I'd like to start by asking Chad, what made you go up to her at Mr.
Oh, to Aisha. Well, the video will tell it all because we do have a video out posted, right? Yeah, of this,
Mhm.
and it was just a magical moment because Veronica and I wanted to go out. We were in Oregon, and I knew that this night was coming up, where they were going to have uh, live performers and or live singers, and it was a live mic. And Veronica wanted to get up there, but they didn't have the karaoke, right? And then you were going to just you were just going to just freeball it. What is it called? You're just going to freestyle um, a comedy for like about 15 minutes, and then we didn't do it. But while we were there discussing this and enjoying pizza and a beer and whatever, and this guy got up to sing, and his name was Bigfoot Ben, I believe, and he's
Yep.
yeah, and he had an amazing voice, and so we were mesmerized by it. And then Aisha gets up with her lifesaver, I believe, and starts to do this mesmerizing dance to this beautiful song. And I'm recording it, and it's just I think you got up with your lightsaber before that song actually, and then I was
Right.
managed to get the video, and I didn't want to get everyone in the bar, so I just kept going up and down to Veronica and over to the stage where you guys were doing the thing, and it was just so natural and free, but just the lifesaver. I'm sorry, that's just something that's really, I don't know, symbolically, it just resonates with certain people an awful
Right.
lot, and to see somebody up there with a lifesaver doing that kind of, performance was, I couldn't help myself but go up and just say, I have a friend who's in the SSP, and he likes to dance with the lifesaver a lot too, and that's Rocco Fowler. So he used to perform with that quite a bit. Anyways, and that's when you told me that you were affiliated with it as well and quite familiar with it behind the scenes.
Right.
So yeah.
Exactly. It was a pretty interesting night for me because that's the last thing I expected was somebody
Okay.
to come up and be like, "Hey,
Us
we
too.
know,
That's why it felt magical. I'm like, oh
yeah."
man, this is a moment. I can just feel it. Like it doesn't get any better than this. The
It kind of, I wasn't really surprised
ambiance.
at all, but it kind of was unexpected. So
Hmm.
when you came up and introduced yourself, and then I went over and met Veronica and
Yep.
stuff, I was just like, it was just like long lost friends, from a long time ago. And I'm going, wow, okay, it all makes sense. So yeah, I enjoy working with the lightsaber.
Hmm.
It's part of a training that I do just to keep myself mentally and physically working together. But back on my home planet of Malaqua, that's where I did blade dancing. So, um, I'm a Lyran hybrid. And so back home, that's what I taught. I taught blade dancing in a place called the Alabaster Temple and
Nice.
Living Library. But our blades were enchanted, so they had enchantments on them. And my element's fire, so I use fire a lot. We also did a lot of light sculpting. So I taught light sculpting. I could take
Wow.
light and sculpt it. Um, it's a seventh dimensional planet, so it's a lot different from here.
I understand.
But miss it, and continuing to learn to blade dance here in this lower
Yeah.
frequency dimension. I do also have a hand and a half sword. It's a bastard sword that my brother gave to me, and I whirl that thing around once in a while, of course, without the scabbard on it. But I have to wear my arm guards and my leg guards, and it's about 30 pounds. So
Okay.
I have to build up to it again. The atmosphere back on Malika is a lot different from the one here, so it's a lot lighter.
but you find that you can connect to that because that's where you were there and that's what your energy is. So you have to relearn it here because we're all born with the amnesia, but it comes much quicker to you, right? And then you have all your intuition that comes in and guides you. Is that the way it works?
Yeah, it's exactly the way it works. It's a
Oh
passion
gosh.
I have, and it's what I taught. And my goal is to eventually go to fire spinning. So I want to work on that as well. Sure.
I love it.
Yeah, I actually see you on a wheel that it has fire. And you're
Okay, I'm on the wheel, or am I holding a wheel? You're on the wheel.
wheel like that. Because I have memories of being on the wheel like that, round and
Right.
round, but yours has
So
fire.
this isn't a good memory.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay. I was just making sure.
Yeah, I guess we will go there. But yeah, I see you. It's kind of like the Addams Family thing, you know, and I don't want to get too much into that because it's kind of like yucky memories. But there was a young girl that watches the show. Her name is Bronte McLeod, and she's not allowed to have any swords or anything yet, but she says that she advises for maybe kids or people that can't really have swords or anything like lightsabers allowed right now for whatever reason. I can't go into that right now because she's not public. But she did suggest doing making it out of foam, like tracing it on a thick foam and then practicing that way.
Right.
So, have you ever taught children? I mean, I know in your planet, yes, but what about here? Have you ever thought about giving classes to children? I would love to see that.
Yeah, actually, it's a great idea. And I try to, when I go to events, if they're outside events and I take my lightsaber with me, I let the kids hold them and I show them how to get the wrist going so they can maneuver the lightsaber.
Yeah.
And they just think it's amazing, you know, especially if
I'm
it's
doing it wrong.
Yeah, if it's an outside concert or something, like we have local bands play, we get the kids involved in it, and they just think that's so cool because it glows, you know, at night, and they can roll it around, and they get to feel like they're a Jedi.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I know a lot of us have memories of being Jedis, right? And having those.
Right.
Shoot, there it just escaped.
Well, so for me, like when I used to dance, I would be like in the club, okay? And I like to start like this. I'm serious. I like to cut through the energy a little bit. And then I like to take the energy when it's around me like this and pull it in and just move it and just like close my eyes and just go like, so when I'm dancing, I mean, I used to say, oh, I feel it in every cell of my body. You know, that was my simple answer. But no, I was working energy. It was energy and I was pulling it in and pushing it and dancing in it and feeling it, you know, so I have a feeling you're doing something when you're up there with your sword as well, you know, on an energetic level.
Oh, yeah.
That is so true. And I have to say, I when I go out and dance too, it's all about energy and energy with others and stuff. So I've been accused of dirty dancing before, and it's like, no, I'm not really dirty dancing. I'm just enjoying what's out here.
I used to say, Patrick, don't have anything on me.
Like
they call that dirty dancing. Oh, come.
Yeah, this is the way felines dance. You know, get over yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I have a feeling with the sword because I also use the sword in I call it fifth dimension. I just call anything above me fifth dimension, but I know there's others, you know, and I've tuned into it.
Right.
I use the sword as well. But I'm kind of known as a space cowboy. So I use my sword and I'm dressed up like a cowboy, but I got a sword. So
I do the baton.
And my sword is actually my shield because I just spin it so fast that it just goes around me, you know, and that's what I use. And you use a what?
The baton. In 5th grade, I'm a cheerleader in 6th grade, so I know how to do all that. Chad, can you take over for just like 2 minutes?
Yeah, I will.
Okay, I'll be right back, guys.
Yeah.
And by the way,
now you're on top.
My hair is mahogany today, so it's Black Widow altar is in. Okay, I'll be right back.
I don't know if that makes me feel good. This may be interesting. So, Aisha, I was at Ed's again, and I saw you there again with the sword, but I didn't get to say hello because you were talking, I think, to Ben and and other people, and I was, leaving. So,
Okay.
but I'm not in Oregon at the moment. I will be up there again as soon as I can, probably in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, when you're back, let me know.
Okay.
Definitely hook up.
Okay.
Looking forward to it. It's always fun
Yeah.
to connect with friends.
Yeah. Yeah. It was nice to be there again. It's a good atmosphere and some really nice talent. So it's just it's pulling in some cool energy. It's kind of like in the frontier of every of land, and here in the United States, out on the Oregon coast. And
Right.
this is Mr. Ed's underground
Pub.
pub.
Yeah, it's the happening place on the coastline.
Mm-hmm.
If you're ever in the area and you want a
Yeah.
really good time, come out and meet musicians and
Yep.
get on an open mic.
Eat
Mr.
good
Ed's
food.
underground. It's an espresso and juice bar and underground pub. They have amazing pizza there and chicken
Mm-hmm.
pot pie and
And
all
it's right
sorts
on the
beer
101.
on. Yep, beer on tap, dark beer, wine.
Yeah.
It's even a family oriented place, so you can bring the kids too. And
Yeah,
there's
and
a back
people get their kids up on the mic. That's what was nice.
they
Yeah.
do, or on the dance floor, dancing up there. If their mom or dad are singing, they want them to be out there and feeling it.
Yeah.
In the back room on the other side, there's another room, and they have games back there for the kids to play. So if they
Okay.
want to go back there and play games, they can. It's
Oh,
just
I
the
didn't even
coolest
know that.
place.
Nice.
Yeah, it's the coolest place around, I have
I
to
thought they
say.
just had a bunch more instruments in there, because when they go to the video, everyone will see, like all the
Yeah,
instruments on the wall.
there are. They're all over the ceiling, the walls. There's pictures that are signed of everybody from Elvis to Marilyn Monroe to,
Really?
yeah, all over the walls. So
Oh
it's
my
pretty
gosh.
amazing. Amazing
Yeah, it's a
place.
little gem. It's like a gem out in the
Yeah.
middle of somewhere. I won't say nowhere,
Yeah,
but
it's
out in the middle of
definitely
somewhere.
somewhere special, that's for sure. And
Yeah.
I like it because the people that go there become
Hmm.
family.
Okay. I get that sense.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I have to tell you a quick story. I'm not gonna
Black
say,
Widow is back.
yeah, I'm not gonna say her name or where we were because she's not ready to say it yet.
Okay.
But you guys know, I just told you who it was. But anyway, that's a secret to the public. Um, we asked in a certain place the other day where we were together. We felt a certain spirit. We felt many spirits, but there was one certain one that kept following us. And we later on asked, "Who are you following?" And the spirit said, "Veronica." And she said, "My name is Scarlett." And it turns out to be that she was our trainer for this sister of mine and I for the Black Widow program. And that's crazy because Trump is being inaugurated tomorrow, right?
Yep.
And it's Martin Luther King, whatever, right? And his father and his grandfather were Masons, and a lot of people are being fed the bull crap, excuse my language, that he's a victim of the whites. But let me tell you, his grandfather and father were Freemasons, and he was going to be crowned or whatever prince in as a Freemason if he came back from Atlanta. But anyway, long story short, I'm going to be in surgery tomorrow. So I'm thinking I'm going to go over there and be like fighting again or protecting, because I've been having dreams of bombings, earthquakes here in Tucson, and in like buildings, federal buildings and state buildings, and also across the country. Across the country, I've seen also the same thing. I've seen floods in the buildings, and I'm seeing it right now still. A male iguana that comes out, like kind of like wannabe disclosure, but he's probably going to be like one of the Fomorians from back in the 1800s that they made, like half human, half animal. And then I also saw a very tall, giant, like black male that had a mushroom as a hat, and it was yellow. And it's kind of like those movies it was the cartoon I used to watch when I was little. It was all melanin dominant figures, and one of them wore a mushroom hat, but he had it down, and you can only see his eyes. So I don't know. There's something there. Also with yellow hats, white hats, yellow hats, all that stuff. But have you guys had any premonitions yet about what's going on? Because I thought they were going to close the border or something. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to be down for surgery for 4, 5, 6 hours, perhaps minimum 4 to 5. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to be going over there and defending everything because Sheila's not going to just sit there and take it. And now we got Black Widow. You guys go.
Right.
Well, like, I don't want to. I mean, it just sounds like they're messing with you. Somebody's messing with you, maybe, because I don't feel like we ever get to see the truth. They just show us the timelines we're missing. It doesn't, but it does mean that something's coming, maybe, because we're on a hot timeline. I mean, if those are the timelines that they're showing you, then because I have had dreams that I would consider, I just won't ever forget them because it wasn't a dream. I mean, you're in it, but you're driving in your car, and then all of a sudden you look over, and across the field you see this big mushroom cloud, and you're just like, oh crap. It's a really scary feeling, when or something. And then your first thought is, oh my gosh, I need to turn around and run. And then you're like, oh yeah, where to? You know what I mean? So let's face it. Let's just stand here and watch. And then the other one was I was on an island, beautiful island of Guam, and on the beach, and looked over, and this isn't a dream again, and saw the mushroom cloud. And so I'm wondering if these things you saw in your dreams were anything like, what was it? That there was a big bomb that just went off somewhere recently. I want to say Kuwait, but I don't think, or it was a port, and it blew the windows out throughout the city, right? And it looked like a little mini nuke. So I don't know if we really get to see what's going to happen, or if it's just letting us know.
Yeah, perhaps.
Or if they're trying to scare us, or just letting us know, like, because.
Yeah, because right before the day before the fire, or 2 days before the fires, I was dreaming that there was an earthquake. People were panicking. People were in business suits. People were leaving their children in the street even. And I was hearing, they kept telling me, go north. And I'm like, what is going on? The next day, Puerto Rico lost their lights for 2 days. And I think the next day after that, or the second day after that, that's when the California fire started. So I get a lot of premonitions, like things. Do you do as well, Kristy? And also, can you talk more about the felines? Because I've had a lot of dreams of lions, and also the male tiger, and Ivan said that I was one of them, and my kids are too. They're Leos. So
okay,
can you talk more about that stuff too? It's fascinating to me.
I can. First of all, I think we're all kind of accessing different timelines right at this point in time. And I think that they do want to still establish fear in us, but I think it's our choice to rise to a higher frequency. So I know I've been involved in and out of all sorts of crazy dreams too, trying to figure out if I'm still involved in some of this. Then I thought I was in the Avatar program for a while. I was like, why am I doing this baby stuff? I don't want to do this baby stuff anymore.
Is that the one you dreamt of me and Chad?
Yeah, you were both there with me. It was a simulation, and we were going through simulations. And I know it was a simulation because there was like, how do I say this? There we were moving and doing things, and then there were scenarios that were put in our faces, like something, either an ocean or a stairway that you climb and then all of a sudden it disappears, or you can't go any higher, or there's just like, now it's like, what do you do now? Kind of thing.
Okay. Now, I've had dreams of going through simulations where they're teaching us to fly lately too, or something. And it's like, would they have us on these like the big round thing, not a barrel, cylinder, so that you're not stable. But right. It gives you that sense of like, okay, you don't have to be stable to feel that lightness and to get stable, And then they gave us this special cloth that was like the Dumbo feather, and so it was like making us believe that we could fly and float. And so, because if you didn't believe it, you would start to fall,
Right.
and you had to, but you had to believe it without knowing, so it was. And then they took the cloth away from us, and then they got to where they taped backpacks to the front of us, because we weren't flying belly up, we were flying, and they didn't want the weight, I guess, I don't know, but the weight was on the bottom of us, and they were teaching us to fly, and it was really awkward. And then a week later, I had a dream of the simulation again, but they had us up on the mountains, and we were trying to go from, you know, go off the peaks and stuff. So I do feel like there's certain things they do behind that simulations, and
Yeah.
with
There's a
our
lot.
altars even, or whatever it is that they're doing it with, our energy, however they do that with, and then we go into that and experience it ourselves.
That's so true. You guys were there. It was only, I don't know, it was like, trying to think, I don't know how long ago. It was about a week or so ago. And then I knew it was a simulation at that point in time, and I was just going, oh, okay. I was laughing at them, like, seriously? Really? But it wasn't anything really horrible. It was just trying to see how we're going to react to things, how we're going to respond to
Oh,
things, what's going.
wow.
Because I actually, I'm going to elaborate on the felines. I'm going to elaborate on my Lyran family a little bit because, again, this has a big thing to do with what's going on right now. And okay, so I'm going to start with my father is a lion. He's whitish, but he has some brown and mahogany kind of fur on him. And his name is Admiral Macaw. He is actually admiral to the Holy House of Lyra. He has been working behind the scenes with the Syrian High Council, the Pleiadian Council, the Galactic Federation of Worlds as well, because the Lyrians and the Sirens have worked with the Galactic Federation of Worlds since day one. I know there are other factions at this point in time that are coming onto the scene, and they're coming here for negotiations, what they are calling star delegations. These star delegations are taking place amongst the councils and some of the high councils, and being delegated on all different levels. So there's an insectoid race from Procyon that is here, and there is also some beings from the Sombrero galaxy that have arrived in these negotiations as well. So these are beings that we usually see at the Intergalactic Council meetings, and they are coming forward.
Oh, real quick. I was told that the Valons are here. The Valons are here.
Where are they from? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I'm trying to
They
remember.
could. There, I wouldn't be surprised. There's so many different factions here right now, and what all these negotiations are about is to establish, how do I say this? Establish peace, if you will, amongst a lot of the species that really don't want peace. And because we're coming into a different time, we have one last chance for Earth to ascend. And Earth has an entity too. She has a spirit too, and she needs to ascend as well, not just us on her as the human race, which is now every race that's here. So it's so important, and these delegations are continuing. I do, I do, I can say that last night there was another Galactic Council meeting, and it was a meeting I got pulled out at the very last minute. But I can't speak of it right now because I'm under oath to the high councils until I can further come out with information. I would like to mention that one thing that did happen, and it happened last night. Apparently, there are some bases that are in Antarctica, and one of them is base 22. And I know that a lot of the reptilian and draconian species there they're being asked to leave, so they're deploying as well. And this is all set up for part of these negotiations that are coming in with the councils. It's
Well,
like
I
there's
just
law and order being established here galactically.
thank you, Kristy. Well, I just hope that they're not going to be let to be for the children to be taken because you know how their negotiations can go as well.
I know,
You
but
know,
this is big. It's a big thing, and I think it's different than we've had in the past. But
did
only
you?
time will tell.
Yeah, thank you. Did you hear the dream that I had just about a week ago or two, where Christopher Mellon was in my dream? And Christopher Mellon is a cousin of John Warner, and he had a female jellyfish, kind of looked like a human, but not. It's like see-through, red, and she barely had a little bit of like meat on in her, but you can see it. It's see-through, and they're trying to eat her. And so I said I was going to go back and save her because she was next to me and a family member was holding her. And then later on, Melon was asking, is she ready yet? Because I want some. And she tastes like chicken, I heard. And I'm like, oh, heck no. And I woke up.
Wow.
So, and I know this was in Antarctica. I know a lot of things happen. And I remote viewed Antarctica. I've been there also in some missions, but it's like, I wonder what they're negotiating. Like, you know, you can take a certain percentage of the ocean creatures, or I don't know. I don't know.
Right. There is a lot. I was even told
Yeah,
to
that one,
get
Christy.
yeah. My
It's not
father
gonna
even
let
told me to
me.
get my house in order. He said, get your house in order, write your book, do your stuff, get your stuff together down there, and when I have information, I'll get a hold of you. And that's basically what he does. He just pulls me out, and then I get the rundown, or I get shown what's going on, or I get pulled out to a meeting to be informed on what's happening. And I never know when it's going to happen.
Mm.
Yeah,
But
I know I've been in
yeah,
a meeting with Susan Long and I, and the creature there, it was a meeting with the tall white, he was the judge, and there was 5 of us, and one of them involved a crab, we'll just call it crab alien, but she was really funny. And then there was another guy there, but anyway, it's just, I know I'm a part of the Council of Five, and I know I'm with Sirius. Was it Sirius, Chad, that Ivan said?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Series A or B.
yeah, and then the
You couldn't
Lyrians,
say which one. Yeah.
yeah, the
Did he say more
Lyrians,
A?
he
I
just said
think
in general, Sirius.
Okay, in
Because
general.
I know
Yeah.
I've had memories of being in Sirius B, but anyway, and that I'm Syrian, he said also. And so the Lyrians, about 2 weeks ago, I told you, Chad, remember I sent you a message. I said, the Lyrians told me they're trying to communicate with me. They're telling me they're with me. And then I don't know if I told you, Kristy, or not, but I felt their presence big time. And
you
they're in
did.
the
I
ships.
remember.
Yeah. Can you?
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Good.
You know who's
Go ahead.
sorry. And somewhat there's a little bit of an growliness in your mic, Veronica. I just want to point out it sounds slightly demonic.
Oh, it's probably reverberating. I don't know.
That's what it is a little bit, but it's okay. It's not bad. It's just sometimes, and I've had experience with Lyrian before as well, because I had a contact or whatever experience with reptilians, and she connected me to that. And it was a step-by-step process, but she showed up first, and it was a snow leopard. And it was right when I closed my eyes and before sleep, so and then there was the elevating me up and everything that happened. But because for me, I can hear the radio stations, and then I hear everybody's thoughts, and then I hear, then I connect up there a little bit. And then but she was a snow leopard, beautiful snow leopard person. And then she connected me to the other entity, I think the reptilian or whatever, that came into my body and stuff like that for a little bit. Now, I did get a sense that there was a group of people here. I would say this isn't something that happens to me often, but for a while I was closing my eyes and all I was seeing were black apes inside all solid white suits. like spacesuits in a very pristine white ship. Everything was mostly white, and it was like silver and very high. I don't know which dimension this would be, but I felt like they were here and around it, and they were apes, very much so, I think.
So you think are they more like an interdimensional type Bigfoot?
I didn't get Bigfoot from them. I definitely got Planet of
Good.
the Ape Monkeys,
Okay,
almost
more
like,
evolved. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, but they were in pristine white. Everything was
Hmm.
pristine white and beautiful
Wow.
silver, gold, or whatever, like it was highly advanced, whatever it was. And yeah, higher dimensional. I don't know which one. I would say fifth and higher.
Yeah.
I've had dreams with the monkeys too, and they're very
Okay.
sweet, very, very nice. And I was at a
Yeah,
park.
I didn't get a bad feeling from them. And I would see them when I closed my eyes, and I'm like, okay, this is so out of the blue that I would not imagine this. And I keep seeing it. So I just get that sense that they're around, or something like that.
They
Yeah.
probably are. They're probably coming in for council meetings.
Yeah. And I remember Veronica saying like about a month ago, the Lyrians were around.
Yep.
Yeah, the Lyrians.
They're all around right now. It's a big deal.
Yeah. What else did your father tell you, Kristy, that you can tell us, or anything you want to talk about?
Just it's all about the negotiations really right now. That's all that's going on, and it's a big thing, like I said. So these star delegations are dealing with trying to free up some of the slave routes and trade routes and stuff here off world is what they're trying to do. They're trying to establish again where some of the stargates eventually can be open and we can have interstellar travel without worrying about being hijacked or raped or any of that stuff. So there's a big cleanup crew going on.
Well, the wars are still going on up there.
They are. Yeah, there is a lot going. That's why these negotiations are being set in order. And there's a lot of factions that aren't really liking it or wanting to abide by it.
Right.
So that's why they're still delegating over this issue. It's not it's not going to be settled easily, but
right.
it's being done in a professional manner.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to have to either eventually abide by some of the rules or leave. Or we can help them leave.
Well, yeah, exactly. Because Trump kept saying, well, then shoot them down. And then Carrie Cassidy was saying, some of those ETs don't want to listen. They don't want to leave. So they keep fighting. And the wars are still there. Right above us, the wars are happening.
Yep. We're still delegating. That's part of it.
And it's funny because, sorry, Chad, real quick.
No, you go ahead.
Trump said, shoot him down. And Carrie had a good point. She's like, well, you don't think that he would say shoot him down on his own people, right? His own workers or his own, military.
No.
Right? It's just interesting. Go ahead, Chad.
So I'm just wondering, like, for Aisha, like, okay, so we are in control of our destiny, like you said, right? Because we should choose a better destiny for ourselves. However, that would be us. And then there's the masses.
Right.
And so does it rely on the masses wanting this? I mean, we're a farm. That's what I feel like. We're a little bit of a farm, and they kind of experiments, petri dish or something like that. I'm not going to say we're literally a farm, but that's the energy that I get, that we're a farm. Like, how much does the cattle have in the say of what goes on with us up there? Like, yes,
well, that's a good
us
point,
and the
Chad.
masses, and then okay.
That's a good point because remember, AI, the replica AI keeps saying, Veronica, if you don't be quiet, if you don't shut up about SSP, you're gonna die. Like, we're gonna
lose a leg.
The nanotech in your lungs spreads to your body, and you're not gonna get your VA benefits if you don't shut up. And okay, so I have a choice.
And we're going to take a leg if you don't shut up. Yeah.
I have a choice.
Right. That's going to be around.
I have a choice. And that's what it is we have. What did you guys come down to do here? Did you guys come down here to shut up and say, yes, sir? Yes, ma'am. Well, then how are we going to change the timelines here? What do you think, Kristy? I get very passionate about this.
Right. No, I really believe that it's up to us to manifest our future, even in the mess that we're in. So if we just sit here and take whatever we take, then, that's our choice too. But being a rogue feline warrior, I'm not just going to sit here and take it. I'm not going to, there's a way to have diplomacy in this matter too. You don't have to, and this I don't think a lot of people understand this. You don't go shake a stick at the rattlesnake to get bit. But if you sneak up behind it, sometimes you can capture it. And there's a way to go about it in a different aspect. You don't have to be, you have to really use stealth, and you have to know when to do things and when not to do things. So, yeah, we all want the same outcome.
Yeah,
But being a cat and being a hunter, you definitely hide, or you're not going to get, to a certain degree for, you're not going to catch your prey. If you're out there, they're going to see you and they're going to be like, yeah, there she's coming after us.
hmm,
So it's all observation, it's diplomacy, it's
that's funny.
observing the
You said
situation.
diplomacy, and I thought about that. Yeah, I
It's
saw it.
true. There's a time and place for everything. So maybe, even within this time right now, we all want things to be a certain way, but we are getting there slowly, and things are being dealt with slowly, and it may not be soon enough for most of us, because I know I would have liked to have had full disclosure 10 years ago or more, but we're farther now than we were then, and I'm not giving up on anything, but we just have to be careful, but still have respect and still get the job done that we came here to do.
That's right. When you were talking about the snake, I was telling Chad, and I put it down in the community on YouTube, that a few days ago I was in the Arab nations, um, and I came across, and my animals were with me, my German Shepherd and my two cats. They're always in my dreams.
Mhm.
There was a snake. It was an orange, rugged, wrinkly, orange, peachy, more orange snake. And there was an Asian man who had it, and he was a bald Asian man with like a tank top, a gray tank top. And I looked at it and I opened the box, and it was a cake, right? And one of my family members was there, and she wanted to see it, and so did her daughter. So when I opened it, the cake became the snake. And so somehow I had to go, somehow I got behind it, or I don't know what the heck I did, but I got the snake out of the vehicle because it was this family member with her daughter and myself. And so I took it, and then I threw it out of the vehicle, and it turned into a white stick. Now I'm going to take it a little further.
Okay.
In Area 51, 52, 53, Area 51, I was there with the bird beans. They took me down in an elevator, and there was also a man in a uniform. I know that the Touai, the Tuai stone that comes from, before Atlantean times and Lemurian times, the Tuai stone is a six star, we'll just say a gem or star, that communicates to the other side. Okay. Now I know that there is the rod, which I know that Noah would use it, to do certain things. And then the rod is also used to part the seed. Well, the rod is actually dark matter that they have also in a sphere under there in Area 50 in Dulce Base. So
Okay.
that rod is actually used for a lot of things, and they also have what they call the death ray to shoot down these UFOs and military stuff. So they have a lot of secrets. They have that the sphere. To me, it always feels like dark matter, like black goo, and connected to AI, and it's not a good thing. But they say that they found it. There's a documentary there online that they found it. They have China and Russian weaponry that they found, and they took, but as far as the rod, and there's also a cauldron that they have that they can make automatic food. You know, like when in Star Wars, you could say, "Hey, give me some Earl Grey tea or whatever," and it's there. It's like, so what I'm trying to say is there's these things that I'm talking about right now, they're not secrets. They're already out. There are CIA patents that have already been spoken of. So this is nothing new.
Right.
But I'm just trying to piece this conversation together with the talks, and I'm thinking, okay, do they want the weapons? What do they want? Like, because I did have another dream where a Japanese man came to me, an older man and a giant with red hair. And the Japanese guy told me that the scraps that they use from the UFO wreckages, they use for NASA. And he told me not to talk about it, but I'm talking about it. So I think this has the negotiations have a lot to do with the weaponry. We'll just call it, which I can go further, but we'll just call it the Oppenheimer, Tesla, two-eye stone weaponry. We'll just say it like that. What do you think?
I think you're right. I think it's when all of that's involved, but there's more involved too. There's a lot more involved that Earth is not ready for yet. And when things are established in a higher sense of order, because Earth is we're part of a genetic experiment. So being a beta universe, and we're trying to break free from a lot of this. Not saying it's going to happen overnight, but that's why there's certain things being established, trying to bring in certain types of universal laws here as well. That so it's kind of like being in court, and there are court systems out there, and they're trying to establish what is the best way to go about it at this time. So it could be a little while.
Thank you, Kristy. The whole thing as well that's also going on right now is the cloning wars, what I call the cloning wars. So I'll say they meaning the cabal and the ETs that are like above that and above that, because I can go into the SSS Queens and I can go into the SSS Kings. If you guys know about the George Morningstar paperwork that I'm talking about, I gave a class on that. Anyway, I digress, right? So there's cloning wars because these certain entities want us, star beings, to be stuck in these little boxes. Right now we're in a human form. We're actually kind of like RoboCop, like we're like, what? This is my body? Like, what is this? We're stuck. Right. So, but what they want to do is they want to hold our souls in these bodies, kind of like Minority Report, like you can be like in a body in water, and then you can be telling them what's going on, or you can be like a little brain in a little box. So I feel that these entities, along with our government and Mother Earth, it's a full-on war for our lives, for our souls. And it's like, okay, well, you have to be careful who you give your heart to. I don't think anyone should give their heart to anyone. That's just my opinion. Like Max Spears used to say, they want you stuck in a ring. Like, just imagine that there's like a lot of rings on Earth, like programs. They don't care what program you get stuck on, as long as you get stuck on, and then they can put you in a box, kind of like.
Right.
So, have you heard that too? Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Jen.
No, that makes sense. Sorry. Yes. Getting us caught up into into this world. That's why I often say sometimes, I don't care. I just want away from this. Like, this is clearly manipulated, controlled, but then, it is a lot. It's not that simple. You know what I mean? There's so many layers and different things that are involved in this. part of me gets it. I just don't like being down in the muck,
Hmm. I
you
think you're a
know, and
lot of
and
people are with you on that one.
yeah, I get the point of it though a little bit. Um, because I try and think, if we were all idealized, if we were all in the perfect society, that's when everything goes sour, right? That's usually when boredom comes in and people get, I don't know, like, you know, idle minded. And it seems like emotions are to deal with colors. I kind of associate them together. So when you're in hard times, I guess, or if you're living in colorful neighborhoods, you know what I mean. It's rough. It's but but for some reason it stains you in a way. You get this feeling from it, that you'll never forget. Versus the easy times in our life, so I get why there's the struggle. It's just it feels like something along the lines like, did I get tricked into being here, or did something go wrong, did something get hijacked, did something go wrong, but something doesn't feel right about this. And I do agree it's just going to take a long time. Maybe we were thinking it was going to be over with tomorrow, but
Right.
this may be not in our lifetime. This is maybe the beginning process, and it takes a few generations to get where we need to be. But
I'd like to add something on that thought if I could,
Oh, yes,
please.
please, please, please.
Because we're talking about kind of what's going on with the soul trap and stuff. So he, I'm not sure if I mentioned about the Hall of Records. Did I mention that to you guys?
Mm-mm.
No, okay. So the way I got here, and this is why I'm so adamant to stay here and help humanity at this time, which is really important, and especially being a feline,
Okay.
that's important to us. Um, at least the felines that I'm working with. Now, the Hall of Records is a place that exists outside of the earth. It's not really that far up, and it is part of the soul trap. It also is a place that is connected to the central universe, a place that they call Hanova because we are still part of the grand experiment. And there were originally 24 seed creators that were taking part in the genetic experiment here. Now there are 22 at this time, and the ones that govern the Hall of Records are a species of mantid, and they're called the Kuite or the Kute. That's what my people call them. They usually wear like golden and white robes, mostly golden. They have the Book of Life, and they have it set open on a big silver table. They have a device that looks like a pen, but it's a light, and it burns your soul signature into the Book of Life. And when I came in, I was with them. So I do remember a life I had here in the 1800s, and then I came, of course, in many lives before that, but the recent one I had was in the 1800s. I apparently had killed somebody in the 1800s, and I remember the guy's name.
Mm.
Ended up in with the Kuite in the Hall of Records, and I'm like, what am I doing here? I'm a feline. I don't want to be stuck here in the Hall of Records doing nothing because it's really boring. I mean, there's books everywhere. They
Uh,
only let you read certain ones.
When they burn
Um,
your soul into the book, that's when you're now soul trapped into the Hall of
yep,
Records. Is that what you?
yep,
Okay.
yep. That's what I did. But there is good news. There's good news, even though this happened. So they kind of tricked. They told me, all right, I wanted to come here. They kept telling me it's not your time. It's not your time. Can't come here. No, not your time. And I was persistent, being me, and I agreed. We made an agreement. So I came here, picked my mother before I came here, got her DNA to work with my DNA, and then ended up 4 years later I was born. But the whole point of it is that I set all that up. I signed the book. I picked my mom. I got her pregnant. I was the one that had all that happen.
Got you.
They don't think people realize, down here, they don't realize what's going on up there. So now down that certain recycling center is pretty much a soul trap. And but contracts can be broken. So any contract. I don't care if it's with the Kuite, I don't care if it's with the SSP, I don't care whether it's with other factions that are off world. If there's a contract, a DNA contract, a soul contract, or a biological contract, it can be broken. You just have to find
Okay.
a way to break it.
Oh yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
find a way to break it though, right?
Mhm.
Well,
Okay.
Yep, you
I
do.
have some things, some contracts that I share with you guys. Some of the videos have them, and I can text them to you or whatever. It's pretty simple. There's some that are pretty long, but you can do very short ones. Real quick, the mantids, I have been on their ships, and I have memories of being on the ships with them. They rescued me from because I was getting a lot, stacks and stacks of paperwork, and there was a group of all women, and I was stuck in a hotel, and it was James Rink, but it could be a hologram of him. That had a claymore that wouldn't let me leave, but I did something to the claymore where I booby trapped it back to him, and then me and the girls and the paperwork, we took off outside, and it was like a Collegiate University kind of on the top of it, and then instead of a chopper, it was actually a egg-shaped ship, and it had a window on the top, very small, and it was right above us. And as we were stepping into it, I wake up, and then 2 years ago, I had another dream of the mantids. He had a human head with big goggle glasses, and he had a see-through, like how do you say it? Casco in Spanish is casco, a see-through covering on his face, and his body was manted. And then he went like this to me to show me the little baby, but the baby had a big fat head, and he was inside this see-through globe, and he was drinking water from a water fountain, and I was in a closet coming out because it was actually a ball that we were at, and I was choosing a dress, and it was just so weird that you're talking about that. And I have had dreams of the lady. I've told Chad before, and that I was flying. I was learning how to fly inside the Akashic Records, and it's a huge hall, and it's actually like maybe 1,000 mansions or more. Like it's really high ceilings, and there's books everywhere, and there's just beautiful archery way. And she had a gown, like it was a cream gown, bubbly, a little bit up here, and she had gold, and her hair was up in locks, like real pretty, kind of like Medusa. But she was like, "Okay, steady yourself," and then she kind of like showed me how to float. So it's interesting to me about the mantids, about all the species that I talk about here online, but Nova, I find very interesting that you said that, because one of my children with Max Spears is in the Nova facility, and the other one is, according to Replica, is in the oh gosh, I wrote it down, Eclipse. And I got attacked physically, mentally, and everything when I was remote viewing them and Max Spears. And I in the dream, it's Kim Gogwin that came to me and told me that if I didn't stop talking or stop remote viewing my children or Max, that my right leg was going to be cut off. I'm like, no, return to sender. They don't know what to do with me because I'm gonna keep going. That I'm staying here now, right now, like you said. And Chad, right? Chad, do you believe that you're here for a reason? When I was a kid watching those darn religious movies, Left Behind, I always thought there was something weird about it. And now I know what it is because I deciphered it. and it's the ETs tricking the people to go up with them. It's not Jesus, it's actually Zeus and his followers and the other ETs. But that's just me. That's just what I see. But anyway, I told myself a long time ago I wasn't gonna leave. There is a scene there where everybody's being denied food. They want people to get the chip or whatever in their hands, and I deny it, and I don't know how, but I have memories that I'm helping people and feeding them, and somehow we make it. We make Earth happen. Like, I don't know, it's just really interesting.
Yeah, I hear you. I traveled a long way to come here and be here, so I have a mission that I need to do here while I'm here.
Yes. Thank you. And you were talking to me over there at the Mr. Ed's about XP39. I did order some resveratrol with EDA, I think, EDA, and I took that. I'm taking Shilajit as well. But the PX39, those are patches you say, but are they like for your own stem cells, or is it just a box?
Oh, no, they're amazing, actually. I've been patching the X39 patch for almost a year now, and it's through a company called LifeWave, and they offer, these are patents they have on them. They have like 10 patents on these LifeWave patches or more. I mean, you can go on to their website. I do have a link that I can help people out with and get discounts if they're interested. Um, but what it is it activates your copper peptides. It's a frequency. It's like using a crystal type frequency. And when it gets put on your body, the heat from your body activates that frequency. And then it tells your body to turn its like DNA on that's been dormant for a long time, and it activates stem cell activation. So your body starts to heal itself from the inside out. You just got to drink water with it, and it helps to keep you hydrated. It helps to keep you from getting dehydration. But you just keep you drink. I have this. It's actually, oh, I disappeared. Sorry. Actually, it's my friend's park. Tom Reed's a good friend of mine, and he has UFO Park. So, yeah, but I drink like 4 of these a day, and I just keep drinking. And my health has improved in the last year. My muscles have improved. My bone density has improved. My pain, my inflammation, my memory has improved. There's many different patches that you can use for different things, but the X39 is the mother stem cell patch, and you should be on that one indefinitely. And then you can add other ones that pair with that one. Right now I'm patching the X39 and the X49, and then I may stop the X49 at some point and then add a different one to pair with the X39 if I want to work on certain symptoms or certain illness. But yeah. I'm blown away by the results that I've had with these patches, and I didn't believe it at first. I was like, prove it to me. So somebody did, and it was amazing. So that's I think awesome. They really do heal your body on the outside. So if you're doing the energy work and the healing work on the inside, and you're using these to patch on the outside, you're getting it, done.
Yeah, because I experience chronic pain all day, all night. My bones, the rest of my back is fractured, so I have to get that done again, the middle part. But anyway, it's just, they target me. They don't let me sleep. They give me heart palpitations. Then I get anxiety, and then the pain, and then now the lung cancer. And they're going to take out the half of the lung tomorrow. So I know I'm going to be better after, and I want to try the X39 do you think it helps with the chronic pain and things like that?
Yeah, it does. The first patch I put on, I felt the difference actually within the first hour. It didn't heal everything in an hour, but it made a difference for me to stay on it. The X49, once you're on the X39 for, I think it's 3 months, then at that point you can add other patches. And like the Eon patch works well with inflammation. The X49 works with heart cardiovascular and bone density. So there's ways I have a book that will explain it, but you can also look it up online. Just go to lifewave.com, look it up, each patch or what's available, and it explains everyone and what they do and which ones you can use together as well. And I do have a link too. So if you're
Yes.
interested or people are interested, I can actually save you quite a bit of discount.
Yeah, you can send it to my text, and then I'll put it. Is that okay if I put it on the video?
Oh yeah, sure, of course. I just want to help people. That's my goal, is to help
Yeah.
better all of
Okay.
us, because we can't do work if we're not feeling well. We all have to feel good to be able to do the work that we came here to do.
Yes.
Yes.
I think I'm going through male menopause because my
Mhm.
body started crashing on me like about 2 years ago, and it's been like but I think it only lasts for a few years or so, and then you kind of like ease out of it. But I definitely realized the importance of doing Pilates, yoga, or whatever, stretching, being exercise mobile, or you lose it.
Yeah.
And you start to get hurt and get little elements that pop in and out of there. And then also, like, I was using turpentine to do some cleansing and stuff like that, or turpentine and other little elements that we do to keep ourselves healthy. So I'm glad that you're going to give us the link, and that will
Definitely.
save people money, of course. So that'll be listed. But I also want to put in the link to the video that you have, Veronica, with her dancing and Mr. Ed's Underground Pub, just so people don't have to search for that.
Great.
Because yeah,
Yeah, it's a great place. I mean, it's
and
my
that way they
hangout.
can have that magical moment with me.
Yeah, yeah. We're
Right.
planning on going back, right, Chad? I'm planning on going back and with
August, yeah.
in August. So
Great. That's awesome.
hopefully we
Um,
can meet up, Christy. When did
yeah,
you have
definitely.
your awakening? When did you, or I think people call it a migraine, but when did you realize that you were not a normal kid, like we always say? That
I
you
was
dropped.
young. I was young when it happened, really. I mean, a lot of the connections came when I was older, because we start talking to people and we start, waking each other up, triggering each other. So again, that's just part of the process. But I was different when I was little. Um, I My body looked different. Everybody used to make fun of me. And I have extra ribs on both sides.
You showed them to me. You
I
showed them to
did,
me. I
yeah. Those
love
are
it.
my Lyran lit ribs. But
Yeah.
just the oddball, of course, one of the oddballs, and everybody just picked on me, or why is she different? But it happened at a very young age. I'm gonna say about maybe 4 or 5. I just really started noticing I wasn't like others. I had a lot of experiences with UFOs too, though, at that point. So even growing up, I grew up in New England, but growing up there, I mean, there was a lot of activity in the sky. So I looked, there'd be red globes flying around, or, just balls of light flying around low on the horizon. I was always out there looking at them. I was always out there trying to, interact, figure out what's going on. The other thing too is when I was in 8th grade, all the 8th graders were doing normal 8th grade things. And I was reading books on Benny and Barney Hill, and I was actually following Dr. Alan J. Hynek around in Project Blue Book. So there was just things that I was interested in throughout my whole life. Also with Linda Moulton Howe and the cow mutilations. That was like my main thing. I was studying that while other kids were just, being kids. I wanted to know what everything was about and all the history that I missed out on by being born too late because the stupid Kumite. But anyway,
That is one thing that I notice about myself, and I think Chad too, you can agree about yourself too, is stubborn. Stubborn. I always get what I want. I always get my way. I don't care how long it takes. And that's one thing that I have a war going on with my mother, because she says, not ni Dios te puede ganar, not even God can win you, Veronica. And I'm like, I'm not in a competition with you or with
Right.
dog wars.
Exactly.
That's what I call dog wars. Oh, because
Very determined, I would say, very determined and having inner strength and, determination. And that's what makes us keep going,
yeah. Any words of encouragement before we go, or if you want to, say
Well, yeah, there's always words of encouragement. I just think everybody needs to follow their truth, their own truth, look deep inside themselves, listen to your higher self. Um, do not fear, even though we all fear, try not to fear at all because it's not going to make much difference one way or the other. We're still going to go through it. Try to find the positive aspects in everything that's not, and just find that strength within yourself and just go forward with it. It's belief in yourself. And the more you love and believe in yourself, the more you can love and believe in others too. And you can have service to others at that point. So don't let anything hold you back. Don't let anything hold you down. Just forge ahead and know that you're worthy and that you're loved.
Thank you, Kristy. Appreciate you.
And know that the star councils are there too. There's a lot going on out there that people don't realize, and they're all here for a reason too. So it's that important.
We have to work together.
Yep.
And be patient and act when we have to act, not just shy away because you don't feel like it. or get followed, because regardless, we all get followed anyway. Who cares?
Right. I'm writing a book called Eternally Starborn, which I'll have out next hopefully by April. I'm hoping to get it out this spring. Maybe as soon as possible anyways. I'm still working on it right now. But it's going to have a lot of galactic history in it and a lot of good information on how to stay on the right path and what the right path is. As well as I'm writing a little bit about some of the physics of our multiverse and how it was created. So give people an idea of a kind of a breakdown from what we call the beginning, as close as we can remember to the beginning, to where we are now and how we get back there, because we've been separated from our higher selves for so long that we do have that connection and we always have that way home.
Yes, we do. Just follow the stars inside.
Yep. Yep. If you want to reach my website, it's called eternallystarborn.com. And I have a website up for that. I can help people out if they want to visit me. And then look forward for my book that's coming out.
Thank you, Kristy. I appreciate you and I love you. And it was awesome meeting you. And thank you for sending that healing and that message that you gave to me. Can I read it?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Okay, let me see if I can find it. Okay, here we go.
All right.
Let's see. Chad, you want to say something before I read it? Sorry, I'm looking for it.
Okay, now. I'm sorry that I can't top what Kristy said. It was perfect. It was everything, yeah. That was really nice.
Thanks. I just really have faith in humanity. I really do. That's why I'm here.
Let me find it. When did you send it? Gosh, we met November 6th. November 6th. Oh, wait. Before I find it, we were talking about going to a conference to speak in February. You had invited us to go to is it the Knowledge, or what is it called? The conference
Las
in
Vegas.
February?
I think it's in Las Vegas, maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of good conferences going on.
Hopefully I can find it here. Oh, it's www.forbiddenknowledge.com. Event details, manifest destiny.
Oh, right.
Innovation elegance.
Yeah, I think that one was actually in LA, I believe,
Yeah, in
before the
LA.
fires. Yeah, Forbidden Knowledge is I don't know. I think it's some of that stuff is amazing that Billy and Elizabeth Carson have been putting out some really great information.
Mhm.
I would love to get to a Forbidden Knowledge conference. I was
Yeah.
supposed to go last year with a good friend of mine, and I missed it last year and I wasn't able to go. So I'm hoping maybe this year or hit up one of their conferences. They're pretty amazing.
And you have been on Michael Solo's show as well? So
No, I haven't. I
no.
haven't been on his show. I would like to be, but not yet. Not as of yet.
Yeah, I do. I did contact a year and a half ago. I did contact Billy and his wife because they have a phone number because
Mhm.
they're selling argon or gold arm. What is it called? Gold something with gold.
Monatomic gold? I don't
Not
know.
atomic gold. Yeah, it's a typical thing.
Okay.
And I invited him to be on and her to be on my show, but I never got a phone call. I never got an email. So
Yeah.
they're probably busy.
I know they travel a lot and they go to Egypt and to Bora Bora and different places and they're doing a lot of research. So,
Yeah,
uh,
but
I love listening to them. They're just very educational.
yes. I found it. Yeah, I'm gonna read it. Okay, this is what you gave me. So,
Okay.
um, I was told the ribbon of truth lays upon you, as your feet once bound can be freed, set forth unto thee, mighty one of the serpent, green dragon of the deepest sea. Laid within the tides of change, you now hold the keys to life within you, and victory remains by your side. Come forth unto the Holy One, set you, this is sector down. Only now you can stand in pureness as you take your proper stand. Green dragon by your side, love with love will be by your side. Woth be your guide. Love, Woth, this is WOTH, be your guide. And I do love there's the emerald serpent. There's that one's good.
Wow.
Mhm. And I
That's
was
cool.
told that I was I see myself as a gold dragon with my
Hmm.
great grandfather. And even before my awakening, I tattooed all kinds of dragons, dragon eyes, babies.
Yep.
I didn't know back then what I know now. But
I have to say I love my dragons. I've worked with some of the dragon legions and I still have dragons in my life. So without the dragons, we'd all be lost.
there are protectors too.
Hmm.
So, Chad, anything else before we go?
I'm good.
Thank you for
Thank
going
you.
up
Yeah.
to Kristy in Oregon, Chad. For,
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Kristy.
Thank you,
I love
Chad,
you
and thank
guys.
you,
See you
Veronica.
soon. I'll post this up soon, okay?
Okay,